Hello everybody, Ben Woodruff here with another falconry video. Today's video I'm going to be comparing red-tailed hawks and American kestrels, two birds very commonly used for falconry in the United States and in other parts of the world as well. Before I get started though, I appreciate everybody's help and support. I had my heart stop and I was in the hospital for a month, and I'm out now. I'm doing better, but sometimes I beg your patience with me, because sometimes my words get messed up still, and sometimes my memory fogs up for a second. So if that happens during this video, that's why. I apologize, and I appreciate everybody's support. So many people have helped financially and with their support in all kinds of other ways. I appreciate so much everybody's help with all of that. It has been amazing. So these two species, American kestrels and red-tailed hawks, not closely related. Red-tailed hawks are soaring hawks. They're bootios or buzzards. Rest of the world outside of the United States understands that a buzzard is not a vulture, but is a soaring hawk. So, but if I say buzzard, that's what I'm talking about, soaring hawks. So red-tailed hawks are buzzards, they're bootios, they're large, they are the quintessential bootio. They have big, strong, powerful legs, they have tremendous gripping force within their feet. They have long, broad wings, a long tail, a strong head, a strong beak. Everything about them is strong. They're built like a Jeep or a truck. They can dive fast, they can fly fast, but they're not as fast or flashy as, say, something like a goshawk, which seems to go 1,000,000 miles an hour and live in another dimension. So red-tailed hawks, they're sturdy, they're solid, they're dependable. Kestrels are a type of falcon. They're the smallest falcon in the United States, and kestrels, they are little, they're tiny, they're under 200 grams. They're little birds, and they hunt very small prey. So these two birds kind of have the same survival strategy, which is to be a generalist, a supreme generalist. Red-tailed hawks will go after anything, mice, rats, ground squirrels, amphibians, reptiles, snakes, lizards. They'll go after anything in their area. Ducks, they'll go after whatever is available. They're built to hunt rodents, but they'll go after whatever they need to survive. And so they live from Canada and Alaska all the way down to Central America. It's a pretty broad range to be like, what kind of environment do you live? Well, I live in Alaska, but I also live in the tropics in South America or Central America. That's quite an adaptability range. But again, adaptability is the name of the game with red-tailed hawks. So kestrels have done the same thing, but they have an advantage, and that is they have gone smaller. So hunting small prey gives you more prey. There's always more little stuff to eat. Kestrels will hunt some of the same things red-tails will. They love to eat rodents primarily, mice and small rats, little things like that, voles. But they will go after, lizards and snakes and all those other things, the smaller versions of the little things I mentioned with red-tailed hawks. But insects also figure largely into their prey base, which not really with red-tailed hawks. So there's insects everywhere in the spring, summer, and early fall, right? So, or, if you're in a tropical area, then you have it year-round. Kestrels always have food, and so they've expanded and done wonderful. So again, both of these species are supreme generalists and will go after whatever they want. The good and bad about that is, the good is they've done great in the wild. The bad of that is it can lead them to not be the gamiest, most pursuit-driven hunting bird when you use them in the sport of falconry. But that's okay. That's okay. We can still work with that in falconry. So red-tailed hawks, normally people in the United States and Canada are going after rabbits, jackrabbits, cottontail rabbits, and maybe tree squirrels, and occasionally ground squirrels. That's normally what we use to hunt red-tails on. Where with kestrels, normally we're going after European starlings and English sparrows, both of which are non-native species that cause a lot of damage here and are not protected, and the government even likes that we go after them to try to help keep the numbers under control. So those are normally what we're going after in falconry, but there's always exceptions to the rules. I've used red-tails to hunt ducks. We've hunted you into ground squirrels with red-tailed hawks. Kestrels, you can go after strange things. We've even gone after mourning doves. Caught one once. It's kind of crazy, kind of a cool experience. But the point is, they're adaptable, but you're kind of limited in what you can hunt because of size and because of legalities. You also, with both of these birds, one of the pluses is you basically do not need radio telemetry for them. You should have radio telemetry or GPS telemetry for any bird, but if you don't have it, you probably won't lose your red-tailed hawk or your American kestrel. Any other bird, it's pretty much a guarantee at some point you're going to lose your bird if you're flying them without telemetry or GPS. So that's kind of one of the pluses. If you want to get into falconry and try it out for a year or two and just test it out, maybe get your first bird, you get a kestrel, and you're like, well, okay, I'm not going to spend over $1,000 on radio telemetry, but I'm still going to train this bird right and make sure the weight management is good, fly it, and then, move up and get radio telemetry. Both of these birds are good hunters. Both of these birds can be kept indoors or outdoors, but a kestrel, the weight management is vital. Weight management is important with any bird, but with a kestrel, if you're a few grams off at the time of day and the amount and weight of your bird can be dead. So because of that weight management, do not get a kestrel unless you can keep it, unless your weight management is religious. And in addition to that, you gotta, if you're my apprentice, I won't let you keep a kestrel outside. If you're my apprentice, I say you have to keep the kestrel indoors. That makes them a lot more social and a lot safer to work with. Safer meaning in terms of them not flying off when you approach them on a kill. They're mantling over something, you go to pick them up and they, big, instinct kicks and they fly off. If you keep them indoors, that helps rid them of that. So that's something you got to consider. Really, if you have a kestrel, you pretty much need to keep it indoors, unless you're in a very, very warm environment. So both of these birds are a little hood shy. They can both be hood trained. Red-tailed hawks fairly easily. Kestrels, it's a little more work. I have a video I will attach to this on hood training your bird versus hooding. There is a technique to it, and it's not just I'm hooding my kestrel. There is a way, and I will put a link in the description to this video down below. So both of these birds are great birds to use in falconry. Both of these birds have limitations of speed, but both of them can still be absolutely serviceable hunting birds. Both of them are, I think, a great choice for a beginner bird, with the caveat that if you're going to do a kestrel as a beginning bird, you have to be religious about the time of day you feed your bird every single day, and religious about your weight management, and you have to keep your bird indoors. Other than that, I think of them as both good birds to start with. I think a red-tail is a better bird to start with, but the problem is red-tails, you might have to drive a lot farther depending on where you live to have good hunting. Or a kestrel, you can just be, driving around and, hey, look, there's some sparrows behind the grocery store, on the pallets, and just let your kestrel go after those. There's places that you can always find sparrows, you can always find starlings, but to find rabbits and ground squirrels and tree squirrels can take a bit more effort and more driving. So if you have the prey, I think a red-tail is a better beginner bird than a kestrel. But otherwise, I think they're both incredible birds, not only as beginner birds, but I like to fly them. Every few years, I will just be like, I'm starting from scratch and get a new red-tail or get a new kestrel and just fly it for a season. Trap it, fly it, hunt it, set it free in the spring. There's nothing wrong with that. They're amazing birds. They're not just beginners birds, but they do make for good beginners birds to teach the fundamentals of falconry and to teach how to fly correctly. So this is just a quick little video. Again, I want to do some more in-depth videos and a lot of how-to videos coming up in the coming weeks and months, but I'm still recovering from surgery and a little bit of brain damage, a little brain slog from having my heart stop on me. So again, I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate your patience, and I'll get my videos back up to full style soon. So thank you all, and as always, happy hawking.